In the spirit of deepening relationships, Cancer Council WA acknowledges all the traditional custodians of country throughout Western Australia and recognises their continuing connection to land, water, sky and community. We also pay our respect to the elders and extend that respect to all Aboriginal people living and working in this area. Let's start the show. In today's episode, I sit down and discuss the intersect of artificial intelligence in supporting people with a life-limiting illness. My guest today is an occupational therapist at North District Hospital, Hong Kong. Please welcome Locke.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So, before we begin today's episode, can you give me a bit of an overview of motor neurons disease?
Yeah, sure. Motor neuron disease is a progressive neurodegenerative disorder that target motor neuron in the brain and the spinal cord, resulting in a deterioration of muscle control. If you can consider MND as a progressive varying electric wiring system in the house, the wires, the motor neurons, degrade over time, causing the light, which is a muscle, to flicker and eventually fail. While the structure of the house, our patient's condition, personality, and sensory function remains largely unaffected, but increasingly isolated from the interaction with the external world. So typically, the progression is nonlinear, with an average diagnostic delay to 10 to 16 months, which exacerbates uncertainty about the prognosis and provokes significant emotional distress. Our patients frequently experience a profound loss of independence and dignity in performing daily activities, which can really lead to social withdrawal and diminished self-worth. And even the subtle changes of role, such as from a lover, a wife, to someone who is dependent on caring and even had difficulty expressing own feelings or needs, are devastating to the psychosocial well-being. And on family also, the impact is profound, often involving emotional strain from carrying a responsibility and anticipated grief as they witness their loved ones to decline. And family may also face relational challenges such as the role reversal we just talked about and the unresolved conflict. And it really tells MND affects not only the physical, but also the psychosocial of the patient and everyone around them.
So, Locke, as an occupational therapist, what drew you to wanting to work with people with motor neuron disease?
Yeah, well, it's hard to start with. Well, our interest really start a couple years ago when we are developing a framework for our palliative care service, really. Because for most of our end-of-life cases, such as advanced cancer or renal disease, our intervention really focused on facilitating acceptance through activity-based intervention and enabling strategies, which in turn enhance quality of life. A notable example is our terrarium program, where patients use moss, green plants, and miniature to reconstruct a miniature world. And through narrative and life stage approaches, our patients get to recreate their life journeys, such as the soul may represent the nurturing environment of childhood, slope or terrain symbolize hardship and challenges, and miniature may embody the core values or beliefs. And this program has promising results in improving their existential well-being and perceived the support and received quite a few positive feedback from our patients. But as you can see, traditional psychosocial intervention like this really rely on participation and communication skills, which are often severely compromised in our MND patients due to the progressive muscle weakness and the speech loss. And to target this gap, our team initiated the development of a tailored intervention that leveraged the remaining skills and ability of the MND patients. And we aim to facilitate to resolve their unfinished emotion and relational business, and ultimately giving rise to our specialized program in this area. As you may know, the use of AI, digital twin technology, voice synthesis to allow our patients to go back to their significant moment and say the 4 things that matter most.
How do you help people to recognize the things that matter most to them?
So the 4 things that matter most are the fundamental expression that facilitate emotional closure and relational healing. So the 4 things, which is I love you, which articulate affection and reinforce emotional bonds. It helps affirming value and relationship amid physical decline. And thank you, which is to express gratitude, deepening the connection between people, and by recognizing the support and the contributions of others throughout one's life. I forgive you, or please forgive me, which seek and grant forgiveness, and resolving lingering conflicts, regrets, or tension that might otherwise replace and reduce peace. And goodbye, which offers reassurance and permission to let go, reducing fears of abandonment and provide closure to both patients and family. For patients with MND, these expressions are paramount because the disease relentless progression often strip away their very verbal communication, and which intensify their feeling of isolation and unfinished business. So, to do that, we employ a stepwise integration of technology. First, in the early stage of disease, we do voice banking, which involves recording the electrical voice for about maybe 10 to 20 minutes of script to create a comprehensive database that has their speech patterns and intonation, and which preserve their individual vocal identity for future use. Then we use digital twin technology to create virtual replicas of significant moments, such as a family gathering or a favorite location. Eye control complement this by enabling gaze-based navigation through interfaces, where patients can stroll and explore the virtual replicas using eye movement, despite the physical immobility. And AI voice synthesis utilize machine learning algorithms to synthesize speech from the banked voice data to produce voices that convey intended message with the patient's original tone. And this component integrate to support emotional expression. Take our cases, for example, the one we talked about earlier, the MAD patient that likes to go to Lara Park. So we create the cherished moment using the digital technology, a virtual visit in the Lara Park. Our patient, she get to navigate this in the environment using eye control, pausing to reflect on joyful shared experience that is no longer limited by their mobility, fatigue, or shortness of breath. With that containment, that positive emotion, and the agency gained through this technology and activity, our patient will be more ready to share about herself, exploring the past, the present, and the future, and say love, forgive, thank you, and goodbye to their loved one.
So, in just a 10 to 20 minute session, you have compiled a large enough database for future communication, irrelevant of whether that person has actually announced that word.
That's the amazement of the technological advances. They record the faces that we used. So they use machine learning, means that they generate something from generate something that hasn't done before, then make a new thing. That means that is the definition of machine learning. So say whatever they want to say, but they left not done that in the data in the banking. They can still use the AI to recreate that tone and recreate the voice that they used to have before and say it from their own mouth. So which is very, very, very amazing when I first started to discover this technology. And the other thing is the natural language processing. See, like the voice of Siri, for example, very flat, very mechanic, very robotic. So the latest technology advances called natural language processing that actually give you tone, give you subtle pauses that make the speech more normal, more human. And this is one thing that I really, even the patient and the family really appreciate because it really tells the patient's identity, not as a robot or not using any AI or any Siri voices, but their own voices that gives the emotional connections.
And like back to the digital twin,
Yes.
Can you extrapolate on that a little bit more?
The digital twin?
The digital twin.
Yes. So we're trying to recreate a significant moment that our patient is enjoyed the most. Say for Lara Park, it may be important for her, but has nothing to do to us because we don't have any significant memory or we don't have anyone to share with before. So we use our life stage approach to see if there's any significant event in the past that brings joy and positive emotion, then we use softwares to recreate the environment, immersive environment, that they can really walk there and we live the experience during a virtual replica tour. So doing that gives them that positive emotion to reflect on themselves and to express themselves, and which is a very key element in our project, because with patients with MND, say they can't speak their need, they can't express their need because they can't move their arms. Most of the time, they will only say, "I can't do this and I can't do that," and they get defensive to express themselves. They get defensive to even participate in anything. But with this, the virtual replica and the wearable, through the tailored selection of activity and tailored selection of that significant moment, we get them to participate in something that they want to and they can do, which create flow and containment. And through that, they get to express themselves in the four things that matter most.
When I saw Locke speak at the Oceanic Conference, and as he's mentioned today, he spoke of a patient that he was caring for who was in a park in Japan, and there was beautiful cherry blossoms in the background, and I believe there was a deer as well.
Yes.
Can you create alternate memories, and how lengthy is that process?
So, like we said before, we've done it with using the live stage approach. So we try to identify that moment first. We usually have a couple of pictures really, and with the resource available online, say Park, we got heaps of lots of YouTube videos and even pictures of them. So then we use these pictures as reference to create a virtual world. It's like a video game essentially. So doing that, they can get to walk and get to stay there, get to experience the deer and the blossom tree, like you mentioned before. And it is a lengthy work, it's true. It may cost maybe 10 to 12 hours for each patient, for me to recreate that world for individually. And now that I've learned and I can do this a lot faster than before, but it's worth it because when you see the patient's eye when we engage to that moment, that memory of theirs that is so important to them, and when they get to walk again in the virtual world, and I think it's all worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't imagine how significant it would be for these people to get to relive these experiences that are otherwise inaccessible.
They can't do it anymore. And when you with that it's really with that positive emotion, and they get to express themselves again and get to gain the agency and gain the freedom, and they get to share more. And this is why we want to have that virtual replica, and to get them to express more and get them to say the four things that matter most. Then perhaps with that they will accept that disease better and manage the unresolved relation and unresolved emotional issues with their loved one, with their husband, in my case.
And Locke, these are viewed through virtual reality goggles?
No. Because they have our patient is with MND and they have very poor neck control.
Yeah.
So we try to use a shortwave projector, a short length projector, sorry, and that we put very close to the wall, and we have 3 walls. So we are going to project the video on the wall, so they get to be. It's like when you are in the cinema. So the projection will be large enough that you can really immerse into the environment. VR goggles don't work well with MND patients because they don't have the neck control and only make them more tired, and they can't really turn their neck to control the gaze also. So they can't really look around with their neck. So I think with the projection system will work a little bit better.
And the voice synthesis, the integration
Yes.
of that, how do people with MND interact with that, and in what circumstances are they able to?
So so like we said before, at the beginning of the disease course, we do voice banking first, and with that banked voice, they can use we can use AI to generate any voice that they are of their own with any faces and any words. So have to be complemented with the eye tracking device since they can't move their hands. And with the eye tracking device, they can type in the computer. And with the faces and with the words, that we use a software to generate their own voice. And one of the thing is, Stephen Hawkins can only type maybe 14 or 20 words per 1 minute, right? So how he's done it is by combination of word and phrases and sentence. We do something similar, which is making a sort of a software, a program that contain frequently used phrases and frequently used words. So our patient don't have to type in, but maybe I want to go to shopping. They have to type IWANT GOTO shopping. Then we will pre-made a phrases like this. Then he can or she can immediately say, I want to go to shopping. But we are really want to do it individually. Some people can really type really fast, then we don't have to do it. But for people that has less ability to type fast with their eyes, or even if they can't really type because Chinese typing is quite different with English typing. So we try to make phrases, and which is the part of an enabling strategy that we use, that we try to understand every patient's individual ability, and we tailored our technology and strategy that facilitate that independence.
And what's the feedback you've had from both people with MND but also their family members? How's it been received?
Wow. I remember the first time our patient Yijing, her husband heard her voice again, and and he's laughing, and he's laughing with joy, really, and because he hasn't heard her voice for ages, and she even when I haven't really fine-tuned the voice, because it takes quite a while, and he said it's more like it's like a 7 to 80% likeless that she used to compared to what she used to speak, and with that, even hearing her voice again makes him very, very happy. And the other thing is, when we can't speak and we can't make gesture, it's very hard for people to understand what you want and what you need. Even need is very hard to convey, not to say emotion. And the eye checking device and comparing to AI voice, our patient can finally convey their need, their emotion, even something deeper. And with that, we really want to encourage and increase the communication between the patient and the family, to change the role from a patient, from a dependent person, to someone that who she is used to be before, a lover, a partner, and something that we can talk to, not someone that you can only take care to.
It's a really impressive thing that you're doing, Locke, and it's very, very exciting.
Thank you very much.
What do you think about in terms of scalability? Can what you've done, can that be replicated in other fields, in other care environments? Where do you see it going?
Well, I think in terms of scalability, I think it really depends on how well you want to improve our patients' quality of life and their acceptance. Say, maybe say AI voice technology, is actually free in the market. And even the 3D modeling, the digital twin technology is free in the market. The pivotal question is how we, as clinicians, sustain curiosity and continuity to seek and implement strategy that empower our patients, which is the pursuit that is grounded in comprehensive understanding of the medical aspect of the disease and coupled with accurate assessment of physical, psychosocial, and spiritual need that ensure that our technology and any other intervention that can be integrated into our service and improve their quality of life. So just be more curious and have a goal to promote the acceptance and accompany them in the journey of the end of life. And I think these are the things that can really push us to improve ourselves into and make therapy that is maybe people think is not applicable because it's too hard or too difficult, but it's not. We just have to have the curiosity and the empathy and to do what we do.
I think it's got infinite amount of uses and can be of huge benefit to many people.
Yes.
I want to ask Locke, what happens when that person dies? What happens to the voice banking? What happens to the digital twins? What happens to all of that data, all that residual?
Well, we get consent first, of course. It's a very tricky question. we get consent for our family and for the MD patient to record their data, the voice, and to use in the future, or in these cases to use in their communication and eventually when they pass away, which they do, and we will delete the data. And the digital twin will stay because it's a virtual replica, and we make it out of the actual environment, and hopefully we can use it for another purpose. But that voice we get to we will erase that, and just out of respect for the family.
Yeah, the families that request it.
Well, we actually have a very interesting request once. The patient want to record her voice to be played in the funeral. She's also a MD patient, so she got a couple of last words that she wants people to hear after she died, and we've done that, and we make the video record for the family, and after that, the all of the data is erased. I think in terms of the family, they rarely request that we save the data, and they rarely request that we send them the voice banking, the voice synthesis software to them. But I think it's worthwhile that we record some of the messages that our patients want to leave behind as a legacy that our family gets to remember something with. And even if one of the core elements of our project is to say the 4 things that matter most. Sometimes our patient leave messages or say something like, I want to thank you for my husband, for spending time with me and for understanding my anger and frustration. And these are the messages that really help our family to get past the grief and to really understand that maybe my wife had an argument with me, not because that any of us done anything wrong. It's just that because she's in frustration, that she's projecting the emotion, but not really targeting toward the husband. And these kind of messages really help our patients and help our family to let go of the unresolved conflict and to have a more fulfilled closure.
Looking ahead, what do you see as the next frontier for healthcare and technology, mate?
At the core of this advancement, I think our overriding goal is to promote acceptance of the disease trajectory and the end of life process, and to achieve closure, just like we said before. So our interventions are designed along to tailor our patient physical and psychosocial stages. Like for individual with mild physical disability, we have employed tailored activity-based program like the Terrarium we talked about. We use symbolic representation of their life journey using miniature moss plants and to reflect their emotion and values. And for more severe disease that impact functioning like MND, we transition using technology, digital twin technology combined with AI-powered voice synthesis to enable a immersive recreation of meaningful memories, such as virtual Lara Park visits, where our patient can navigate via eye control and articulate the four things that matter most in their authentic voices. So for patients entering the dying process or very end stage, where even consciousness may deteriorate, we're actually developing an immersive projection system that can be used in a hospital setting, simulate a familiar home environment to facilitate dying at home virtually. This is a non-intrusive technology that would project smoothing and personalized home-like scenes, such as her bedroom or a cozy living room or whatever she wants or he wants, or a family gathering, perhaps, that directly onto the patient bedside or surrounding spaces, which does not require any headset or physical engagement. See, most of our patients in Hong Kong wants to die at home. I think globally they all want to die at home because it's closely surrounded by loved one and in a place that we're familiar with, like a closer, because we used to be born at home, they want to die at home. But most of our patients in Hong Kong eventually spend their final moment in the hospital because of the resources that they don't have. And we really aim to recreate a sanctuary that aligns with the patient's preference for location of death, a factor that is very strongly associated with perceived quality of life and quality of end-of-life care. So yeah, we're really working hard on that. We are optimistic that this innovation can bridge that gap and benefit our patient even in the dying process. And there are quite a few obstacles that we have to overcome, but we believe we are really getting there.
Just so I'm correct, Locke, in hearing you're creating the virtual home in the patient bed space in a hospital.
Yes.
And will that operate similarly to the digital twin in which you are around surrounded by screens and it's immersive?
Yeah, it does. It does. And I think one of the core elements is the sound and the movement. So we compare the still picture, which is lifeless. We're calling the sound of their home, even the ambient sound like the bird humming or even the door closing and opening, that really we create an immersive experience and make people really think they're at home. And that sense that they're at home really foster a sense of comfort, autonomy, and normalcy really in that very, very vulnerable period and very, very vulnerable moment. And we hopefully that can really improve their symptoms and let them have some sort of dignity in their end of life.
Wow, that's incredible. I'll have to definitely have you back on, Locke, to talk about that further. And hopefully there's something you can share with us as well. I'm sure the people listening would love to see that.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Locke. Thank you for listening to another episode of Keeping Up with the Pace. Anything referenced in today's discussion will be included in the show notes. You can interact with us on our media platforms. We're on LinkedIn and we're on Facebook. Or head over to our website, palliativeandSupportiveCareEducation.com, for any educational needs that you or your organisations may have. You have a good day. Bye.